Hey YouTube. Alright, where are we? Number 13. Okay, this morning I came out here bright and early and I hung my generator and found a nice spot right on the bottom. We'll go down there in a second and I'll show you how I mounted it in to where it's a slightly canted. That'll release the gas a little bit easier. Sorry about the handheld, it's going to be a little shaky, but I brought the wiring up. I'm leaving the grounds down in the bottom because the grounds coming off the unit, I can actually bolt those into a pre-threaded hole that my skid plate was bolted to. This generator is basically taking the place where my skid plate sat. So they come up. I've got it tapped into the positive. Tucked down in here are my two 30-amp fuses. The yellow wire, which is right here, is going to go up there on the firewall. And if you look at the wire bundle and that red wire, the big red wire right there, I have a grommet into the firewall. It's protected just underneath, drilled a hole right underneath the bundle. The yellow wire goes through the firewall and that's going to go to a switch up on my dashboard. That way I can either turn the unit on or off, but it will be on a keyed switch, so it'll only be power when the ignition is on. So hold on a second, let me climb under the truck and I'll show you how I mounted this. Okay, we're on the driver's side, looking toward the passenger side, and on the very bottom of my shroud, the shroud is actually made of a composite material. So what I basically did was just drill a couple of holes and just do a 9/16 bolt up through them. And I happen to have a couple of pieces of metal that were angled, just angled at a 45 degrees. And when I looked at it and measured it out, I was surprised to see that when it bolted to the top, the bottom piece would actually rest on this ledge. So what I did on the bottom was I had these little 90-degree elbows, and these are actually working as clamps. You tighten them up. I'm using wing nuts top and bottom so I can take it off easy, but these actually work as clamps. Clamp it against this piece of metal, the cross member where my skid plate bolted on. So the whole unit is rock solid. It's not going to go anywhere. These are my grounds. These will bolt right here. Holes where the skid plate was. These are the last connections I have to do down here on the bottom. And now I'm getting ready to go back up top, and we're going to get the bubbler installed. Haven't really figured out where I'm going to do that yet, but as you can see, it's clear of the fans, it's clear of the engine. There's no interference with the wiring. I relieve the interference of anything else that happens to be here. I can get to the drains easy. I can get to the relays easy. Positive terminals. I'm going to leave the skid plate off, of course, because I'd need a plasma cutter to cut it, to shape it, to get around the generator. That's a possibility. I've got a buddy who's got a plasma cutter, so I might just mark it out, take it to him, and I'll just cut a space to where the only part of the generator hanging down is the bottom part, just the bottom third. But that's it. It's in the truck, and we're gonna get onto the bubbler. Hey YouTube. All right. Bubbler's in. Tubing's in, ground's connected, the rest of the power is connected. The only thing that's left is to run the wire up to the dash and find a place and mount my switch, and I can do that later. I really didn't have any ambition to get this thing up and running because I'm still waiting for my in-dash amp gauge, so I didn't want to have to splice an amp gauge into this, put my mixture together, run it this way. So those are my lines that held out to the bubbler to carry the gas and the fluid. Bubbler's mounted right here, about halfway up. blue line goes back down and feeds into the bottom, and that finalizes the circulatory system, feeds in there. Gas line comes out, goes across to an arrestor, and then feeds in underneath the air cleaner. And basically what I did here was just drilled it and I tapped it right there. Now I've got a couple of thoughts about this, and since it's on here, because I really didn't have a space otherwise, I think I'm going to put an elbow right here, bring it over, and then I'm going to drop it right up here so it should get the pull. I want to have it centered. I'll run it like this for right now just to see how it does, but that's about it. Didn't take long, wasn't too bad. It mounted in there fairly easy. I went ahead and put a zip tie. I mounted a bracket right here. I didn't like the way this radiator hose, you know, when it fills up with water. If you look right here on the inside edge, I don't know if you can see it, the blades were kind of close, so I stuck a bracket that acts as a tray for the radiator hose. That keeps that out of the way. That's pretty much it. Got complete clearance. The brackets have good clearance. There's really nothing that interferes with anything. It's not going to move around too much, and even if it does, it's not going to hit anything. Even if it looked like it did, I can always come off a screw at the top, drop down a piece of bracketry, and zip tie it to the bracket. I know this hose has a little bit of flex to it, but I'll run it for a little while first, and then go back and see how it looks and see how it operates. But that's it for right now. It's in. Let me get on to putting the switch in, and hopefully my amp gauge will show up, and we can get this thing up and running and get some gas flowing through this sucker. But that's it for the day. Got a few things to do, so we'll get back to doing the switch, and we'll get that up. So that's it for right now. Have a good one.